Good morning, bedheads. Click. How's it going today? I'm telling you, F45 just makes my job so much easier. God. You can't, I mean, you literally can't make this shit up. Are we living in a nightmare? Are we? I don't know. I mean, we are definitely living in the middle of this dumpster right now, but we are letting our light shine, aren't we? I mean, I don't know. I think it's hilarious how I'm collecting a little bag of props from the community. I've got my beautiful handmade Good Morning Bedheads card. Isn't that adorable? I got this picture from someone in the community throwing, literally, that is a dumpster in the background, throwing his book. Do you guys want to know something? I noticed this yesterday. I was looking at it closer this morning. That is a carton of, it's just empty carton of eggs, an egg carton, which is funny. Did you ever notice that? I just showed it yesterday. I did a video yesterday from the P.O. box. Oh my gosh. Oh, so yeah, I'm collecting this because it's just too easy. Trump makes it so easy. Oh my gosh. Right? If we don't laugh, we will cry type of thing. I had to pull this out. I was going to put it on my necklace, but it didn't fit through my chain. This is just, I'm just going to hold that right now. That's all we're going to do. It's just, I'm just going to wear this. I need to find a chain that I can get through the little hole. Or I do have bigger loops, but I'm going to wear this from now on. I'm just going to wear it. Oh my Lord. Okay, so the corruption is mind-boggling. I mean, how can we even be surprised at this point? And I am going to talk about mirroring because it's interesting to me. And MAGA. I'm going to talk about that a little bit, but and then I do have a message from the SGs using the pendulum. So, and then I have we'll do an oracle deck, okay? An oracle reading. Oracle of the Seven is what they chose today. So, anywho, I am just, this is how I feel. Oh my God. By the way, this is Coffee with Karen. If you're new here, this is how, I'm not even rattled. I'm just like mind blown. This is how, is anyone else feeling like this morning? I'm just like, what the hell? But I'm not rattled at all. The corruption is unbelievable. The corruption. And it just layers on top of layer on top of layer on top of layer. This is the latest one, the whole market manipulation. And if people don't see how he is manipulating the market, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So it doesn't surprise me. I'm just going to give you the message right now from the SGs. I usually wait till the end. So they spelled out on the pendulum, rest assured, and then the third word was Trump. But then when I said rest assured what? Like what are you assuring us about? And they said arrested, allegedly for entertainment purposes only. But I mean, he's making it so easy. In fact, he's been making it so easy his entire life. It's incredible. It is incredible how much. I think that's all I have to say today. It's just incredible. It is incredible how much this guy has gotten away with. I don't even know what else to say. Do you need me to go into details? Probably not. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. So, anywho, I was thinking about, okay, so, do you need me to go into details about how corrupt this whole bring the market down, put the money in, and now, they brought it because then he takes the tariffs off for 90 days, except for China. And which who knows what the fallout of that's going to be. I look around my house, every single thing in here is from China. Every single thing. I'm sure. I mean, maybe not everything. I don't know, but most things. Most things. So, and that's not, there's nothing wrong with that. Those are people from the US selling things from China because it costs less. I mean, there might be issues with that, but that's a much bigger thing that we can't deal with right now. But um it's just, so the market like goes up, what, the Nasdaq went up 12% yesterday. That is ridiculous. Well, and now it's down. So, I have a feeling, I said to my husband yesterday, I bet they have a calendar that says on this day, we're going to tease about tariffs. The next day, we're going to do this. The next day, we're going to do this. Then we're going to do Liberation Day. So it's been 8 days since Liberation Day, and the market has completely tanked. So that's liberation. Yeah, that's really liberating. And they have no plan, by the way. Like, what is the plan? There's no plan. He is just playing his little games with the world, which is why it is so mind-boggling. He's playing his games with the world. With the world. And he's not going to win. He is not going to win. And the only thing I'm trying to get my head wrapped around is, what is that going to mean for the US? What is that going to mean for us? What is that going to mean for us economically? I have no idea. And this isn't fear mongering. I don't even feel that afraid of it, but I'm trying to get my head wrapped around it. Like, what does it mean? What does it mean? I have no idea, because nobody has ever seen anything like this before. So it's interesting. I mean, that's not the right word, but so, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if this doesn't happen, then, what a joke, right? If it doesn't happen. The corruption is mind-boggling. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-boggling. That's all I can say. That's all I have to say about that. They have like little consideration for what the consequences of all this is. They don't even know what the consequences of all this is. He's making his shit up as he goes along. He's like literally tweeting out, well, now we're raising on China for 125. There's no plan. There's no plan. There's no forethought of what the consequences are, because he doesn't care. He doesn't care about the people. And if MAGA, I can't call them MAGA. I feel like calling them MAGA is like the British way. I don't speak British, so I just feel like it's not, I don't know. It just doesn't sound right to me, MAGA. I think maybe because I'm from Wisconsin. MAGA. If people who have, I'm mind blown by people who have even been in his corner at all. If you would just take 5 minutes to even read what his freaking approach has been. And like every once in a while I'll see somebody say, oh, he's such a great business person. Are you freaking kidding me? I mean, let's pick up a book every once in a while, people. Pick up a book. God. Oh my God. Anyways, it's mind-boggling. So, but that brings me to Soul Mirror. Oh, because I always have to try to make some perspective out of this. But I did write down, as I was making some notes this morning, my first thing was the U.S. is being run by a child. He is. It is being run by a child. And I don't even know what age. You guys will have to tell me. I mean, I'm pretty aware just, recently having greats and some friends that have I've got probably, let's see, I've got two, three, four, five, six, seven. I've got seven littles around me that are under age 5, maybe age 6 and below, that I've been exposed to more recently. There was this huge chunk of time where all my nieces and nephews got to be teenagers, and then there wasn't any littles in the family for a while, or even with my friends, because they all kind of were the same. My friends were having kids at the same time my nieces and nephews were little and growing. So now it's fun to have littles again. So, because I have a friend who's 46, she'll be 46, and she has a 5-year-old. So she had a baby when she was 40. So, yeah, he'll be maybe 41. Anyways, so I'm aware of what child behavior is again, but I don't even know. I don't even know what age he is. You almost don't even want to belittle children putting putting the age down. But when we talk about soul mirror, so some of you might know that this is like one of my ultimate favorite. I love all my decks, but this is like one of my ultimate favorites, at least right now. You know how you kind of go through, um, you have a favorite of this and then it switches and all that kind of stuff, depending on the time of your life. But what what I'm thinking of with people who are MAGA, okay, especially people who still don't see it, still, um, is that when we think about what mirroring is, okay, so I'm just going to read this real. So think about yourself, but also think about those who, let's just think about people who um, relate to, let's say, Gandhi, okay, and then, or Martin Luther King Jr., or people who relate to Trump, okay. So let's just think about people who relate to people with very different values, let's just say, okay. So mirroring is a form of self-reflection, fast-tracked by seeing your wounds and lessons reflected by the external world. Okay, so think about that. More importantly, of people who love F45. Okay, so they see their wounds and lessons reflected by him. Okay, so you see the reflection in everyone and everything. Mirroring involves being conscious of yourself from a third person perspective. Okay, well, we know that that's not going on. Being conscious of the self. I mean, it might be with some people, but watching your emotions, behaviors, language, actions, and energetic exchanges from the point of view of all that resides outside of yourself. Okay. So we could say, if we're looking at ourselves and how we react to F45, my reaction this morning of just like, it's mind blowing, right? So the question is, what my reaction, what is it stirring up in me? So the external world is stirring this up in me, right? And what does that say about my wounds and lessons inside of me? What does it mean to me when I see corruption? Why does that hurt me so bad? What is it about someone who's being corrupt or lying okay? So then you think about it the other way, like, what is it about someone who the corruption is so obvious, but they still don't see it? What is being reflected back to them, which is really fascinating. So in practicing mirroring, you will become conscious of how a person, their words or actions, the environment, a situation, or anything else external makes you feel internally. Okay, so we're looking at how we feel internally based on this, but I like the idea of thinking about it from the other, from the MAGA perspective too. These external encounters will tell you something about yourself through the reflection they offer. Whenever your energy shifts from its happy medium, it will illuminate something that wants your attention to learn, work on, or let go of. When you are in a free-flowing state, this signals harmony and balance, and that you are in truth aligned with loving energy. Anything that tips towards fear is a misalignment or internal knot. This highlighting discomfort is a golden thread of significant information. We need to listen to it. So this is a deck that we're using when we work on the sacred shadows in the spirit circle right now. Okay. So because of that very reason. But if we, if what you're seeing on the outside, like you relate to it. Okay. So we have people who relate to what he's doing and are like, yeah, give him where it hurts, take those libs down. It's like, what is it in them? What's their inner child saying, basically? Because we all have the inner child, right? We all have and I'm not an expert, I'm not a therapist. No, not at all. Okay. So it's just life experience and reading and educating myself and whatever. So we all have the experiences throughout our entire life. You could have inner child experiences that you haven't resolved from the moment you were born until, I don't know, I kind of consider like, even last year might be, you might have I might have some inner 55-year-old Karen or 54-year-old Karen in me that hasn't been resolved, right? So, I mean, I don't know that people who talk about inner child would say it that way, but we all have these things that haven't been resolved. So right now we're in two camps. We're in the this is absolutely ridiculous camp. We see what you're doing. You can't fool me. I see the lies. We've been seeing it for years. I saw it in 2016, right? But then you have the people who are like cheering him on, buying all of his stuff. They see him as an idol and he's a bully. So it's like, what is it about their inner child that is connecting to the bully, connecting to someone who makes fun of people, who is completely corrupt, who lies constantly? What is it about their inner child that is relating to him? And really, it's because he is a reflection of what's inside of them. And he's also reflecting what's inside of us, because any of us, we're all going to react differently. But I find it fascinating. It's like the bullies, the bullies, and how many people in the world like him. It's way too many. It may be a lot less than what we think, but because who knows the truth about all that? But even 1 million, even 5 million people who might see, I mean, that's a lot of inner child work that needs to be done. If you know what I mean. Like, we all have it. We all have inner child work. We all have shadow work to do. But we're that damaged? If you think about that, like, society is that damaged, at least a huge portion of it. And I think collectively we should be concerned about that. We should be concerned that so many people relate to him, and not concerned because we're afraid of what that means. We should be concerned that that's how they're being treated, that throughout their lives, that enough that they would relate to this person is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So let's just, I'm always talking about my dad, who is MAGA. And he wouldn't label himself that way, but he is. And what happened in his childhood that relates to this guy? What happened to him? You know what I mean? And so you almost have to ask that about every person, just as you ask it about yourself. Like, what happened in my childhood that makes me react this way, or any time in your life, not just your childhood. So I don't know. I find that fascinating. It's just something that came into my mind today as I was just sitting here like this about the corruption. I just can't even. I'm almost just like giddy about it because it's so freaking unbelievable. And I know giddy is not the right word, but I I'm not even mad. I don't even have a word for it. I don't even have a word for it. So, anywho, what do you guys think? What do you think? How are you feeling right now? I mean, is anyone else seeing the corruption out there, or is it just me? This is the picture that YouTube will catch of me to put on the cover page. They always pick the weirdest ones. I get three options. Um, yeah. So what do you think? What do you think about this? And what is coming up in you? I think that's always going to have to be the question going forward. Man, and that's a really good thing. I mean, from a spiritual perspective, a personal growth perspective, wow. I mean, I've said this before, but there's a point where you might have to thank the guy. I haven't grown more, and well, probably mostly because I've been doing this, facilitating this community. So it's, like I've never worked so hard on a workbook before because I'm facilitating a conversation about it. So it's kind of forcing me to do it. You guys get to work at your own pace, right? So so of course that's kind of helping me. So if you really want to get moving on your personal growth or your spiritual growth, start a YouTube channel and facilitate a conversation. Just facilitate a conversation. Because even if you have 100 followers, that's 100 people who want to go through the process with you, and it'll force you to do it. And it's kind of fun, if you're willing to do it on camera. I can't believe the stuff I'm willing to say on camera. Well, I can. I've always been an open book, but I don't always tell you everything. I'll tell you that. So, because that would be weird. Some things just are meant to be kept between myself and whoever, or myself and myself. So, yeah. So just more stuff to look at inside ourselves about. And not only that, look inside ourselves, but look at our structures and look at why so many people in our society relate to this guy and are happy about it. And still, they literally could be losing half of their savings and they still will put up with his abuse. It's abusive, right? It's how people react to narcissists. It's how people react to their handlers. It's how people, yeah, it's just, again, I'm not a psychologist or anything, but it's like a global, and I just think it's really good for us to be aware of that because, I mean, we've known if you pay attention to society, but there's no reason for this. There's no reason that so many people should be relating to somebody like him. And moving forward in society, especially as we raise our vibrations, especially as we move towards love higher and higher, we need to do that for everybody. We can't just, we got to drop the labels. We got to stop labeling everybody, the us and the them. And we need to, they're taking advantage and they're, I don't know. Because there is a serious epidemic, I guess I would call it that, it's serious epidemic for people to relate to this guy. Serious. The question is why. So we sit back and say they're either stupid or they're racist, right? It's deeper than that. It has to be deeper than that. And I think we need to have more empathy for why people relate to this guy. Besides just the other people who are corrupt, the other organizations, and sometimes it's like true values, but if this is your values, but then again, people sometimes don't see the actual corruption either. So I know it's complicated, but so just my opinion, entertainment purposes only. We're just entertaining ideas, but when we've been talking about pendulum messages for the last 2 or 3 months, talking to the SGs, spirit guides, if you're new here, that's what I'm talking about. I will put a start here playlist right here up in the corner. Is this light too bright? Up here in the corner for when this video is open or over. That's the playlist I'd recommend that you go check out if you're wondering like what I'm doing with dowsing rods and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I think we needed to get to this point. I can see it more and more. So we've been getting all these pendulum messages. I'm really starting to connect the dots more and more, which, I appreciate. I love connecting dots. It'll be really interesting going forward. So I hope that everybody's protecting themselves individually. I'm sure there's people here in the community who are feeling, because maybe you have your money in the market or whatever. I mean, I'm not here to shame anybody or scold anybody, but if you are retired or close to retirement, which is, a lot of people in the community, the age, I wouldn't have all my money. No, Jim, we're retiring and we right now have 100% out of the market. Especially when there's volatile times, like when you're close to retirement. Like, I'm not a financial planner, but I have enough life experience with finances and have gone through the up and downs of all the recessions and all that kind of stuff. And have been investing since I was 21. So just, I know, be very, very careful in any decisions you make right now. But don't take this as advice at all. But just for those who are not of retirement age, please, as you get closer to retirement, you should not be fully aggressive in the stock market. Stuff like happening right now, if you're in retirement or close to retirement, should not be freaking you out. Like everyone's like, I just lost all of my retirement savings. I can't retire in a year. I'm like, there's no way. Like if you asked any financial advisor, you would not be fully in the market a year before you retired. So you're getting bad advice if that's what's happening. So, but I mean, and if, again, we've been paying attention to the market forever, for 30 years. So, and I've been talking I actually did a card reading once. I don't know if I put that in the spirit circle or how the SGs had said to get out of the market, which didn't surprise me. And we would have gotten out of it anyways. When times are uncertain, we just pull out, there's nothing wrong with pulling out, but you want to pull out before, and times if you listen to any economists over the last year and a half, because the only thing that's been inflating the market are like the 5 or 6 tech companies. That's very unusual. And so when that's happening, that's not a safe place to be. So you just want to pay attention to that. But if you're close to retirement, or those who are not, but please pay attention. There's a period of time where you shouldn't be fully invested. Anyways, I digress. So, because I hope people are doing okay. I hope you're doing okay out there. Just stay calm. Don't make any rash decisions. If you look at, if for those of you who are not feeling comfortable with what the market's doing right now, I will post a video. In fact, I'm supposed to post a video from what I talked about on Tuesday and I forgot. So I will post both videos. I talked about a video about shadow work. And it was really good. Shadow work and investing. So I watched an investing guy today talk about the market, and he showed the history and basically telling people not to worry right now if you see the history of it. And it's really good if you're feeling really scared, then this would be a really good video for you to watch, okay? Because it would help you calm down a little bit. So in case there's anybody in the community who's feeling that way. So because I know it is very scary. And he's playing with people's, he is playing with the psychology, and this guy is nuts. He's nuts. And people relate to him. Ugh. Okay. So you guys, sometimes I just don't even know. Okay, so here's the message. I was picking my skin right there. It looks gross. Okay. Rest assured. And then, so they literally spelled that out on the pendulum. If you're not sure what on the pendulum chart or map, looks like this. Okay. And, oh, FYI, we are literally a day away probably from launching our community business directory. So the sales page for it, in terms of what you'll get and how much it'll cost, will be posted probably today or tomorrow on the community posts. And then I'll just start talking about it a little bit. So hopefully we'll have this beautiful directory of everybody who does all this amazing stuff, and they'll get some amazing advertising from this community of people who want to buy local or buy handmade, especially nowadays, and support this community. So I'm excited about that. So we are like a day away, and then I'm going to finish up those pendulums, the pendulum charts that I'm working on. I've been talking about them for a while. So, okay, so let's go ahead and let's see what message. This was a weird coffee with Karen. I feel really weird. I don't know why. I'm just like, I don't know. My energy is funny. I feel like my energy, like, I don't know if you would see this or it sounds like it, but I do feel like I'm vibrating very high, which probably does not sound like it. I'm almost like having an out of body experience with all this stuff. I think that's what I'm like, the corruption stuff. That's why it's mind boggling to me. It's almost an out of body experience, which feels like that's why it's almost like I'm just watching. I don't know. It actually just feels like I'm watching a weird movie. So it's very interesting. Okay, so Oracle of the Seven Energies, Colette Baron Reed. I love her cards. So I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides, guardians, and all of those of the purest and highest light. And I ask Archangel Michael to please protect this community, this channel, so it is also of the purest and highest light. Amen. Okay. So you guys, talking to my spirit guides, can you please tap into all of our spirit teams of anyone who is listening to this now and in the future? And what message do all of you want to have? What message do you want us to have that's for our highest and best good today? What message do you want us to have? It could be about rest assured. It could be just something about the corruption being mind-boggling. Or just a personal message, soul mirroring, shadows, inner child. What do you want us to know today? What do you want us to think about? Anything? They did pick this deck, by the way. So for those of you who are new, okay, I'm going to put that one down. I have all my Oracle decks listed on a card. I have like about 60 of them, and I shuffle. And then I use the dowsing rods, just like I'm going to do right now, to make sure that that's the deck they wanted me to use. So it's kind of fun. So it's not just coming from Karen, Okay. Anything else, you guys? That one didn't even hardly pop, but I don't know. See, and then I was going to pull that one, but it had some resistance. So that one just kind of popped itself out. All right, let me just see if any of these three. Okay. So did I pull the card that you wanted, you guys? Yes. Is there any others in the deck that you want me to pull? Nope. Okay. What about the one on the right? Yes. The one in the middle? Yes, and the one on the left. Oh, so you want all three of them? Do you want me to do a pick a card with all three? Because it is interesting that they have three. Okay, you want us to do a pick a card. Okay, do you want the one on the right to be a number 1? And then we have 2 in the middle. Oh, yeah. And 3 on the left. Okay, so you guys, so just either pause the video, take a deep breath right now. Ask yourself in your mind's eye, 1, 2, or 3, and just see what comes to you. And that will be your card. That's the message they want you to have today. Okay. So let me see for myself. Okay. So I got a 3. And if you didn't get any, don't worry about it. You might have, there's probably, I always get a message in actually most of the cards. So, okay, let me see if this is a reversed. Okay, so this one is upside down, but it doesn't have a reversed explanation in the book. So you can think of it as reversed if you want. So it's a number 34. 3 plus 4 is 7. So it's a 7 card. What do you see? How does that make you feel? So this is number 1. So these are for, I didn't say that, sorry. This is for folks who are number 1. Opening to discovery. Cool. Opening to discovery. Okay, so let's read about that real quick. Opening to discovery. The small bits of data you collect from the world to form ideas. These are key concepts of the card. The transfer of vital information via the universe, always speaking to you. The need to integrate information and be discerning about what you expose yourself to. Okay. Okay. I like it. I'm just seeing if there's anything. So it really is about, consistent exposure to unhealthy messaging, invites us into a cynical, fear-based world. So for those who picked number 1, maybe that's something to consider. Maybe you're, stepping back a little bit, or at least doing what I'm doing and taking, not always, but, taking what I'm seeing and processing my inner work with that, right? At least doing that. If you're going to keep exposing yourself, then, keep going to the self-discovery. What is it saying about you? What's coming up in you that you need to, that's coming up for healing, basically, around what's going on. Okay. This was reversed too. So this was reversed. So you'll have to interpret that however you want. This was also reversed. The next one is not. So she just doesn't have, that's not kind of how the deck is set up. Okay, so this one is, ooh, cool image. All right, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's an 11, right? 7. 11. I had to count on my fingers. So that's an 11. So 11 we don't reduce. Both cards so far had a key on it. And stars. Okay. And this one is sacred reverence. Sacred reverence. So 47. Sacred reverence. Okay. Key concepts. Awe for the truth that spirit is everywhere. Inspiration coming through you as a result of reverence, joyful living, exploring possibilities with curiosity, spiritual passion, manifesting from the starting point of the realm of spirit. Wow. So looking at the world, do you see all of life or only a limited part? When you look at a blade of grass, do you see just a plant? When you encounter a puppy, do you see just an animal? While this categorizing is one way of viewing the world, it is only a fraction of the truth. It isn't enough. Look closer and you'll observe the luminosity immanent in these living sentient beings. If you can allow yourself to take in all the world, including its spirit, then you see the whole. Very cool. So reverence is an act of deep witnessing, respect, and awe. Okay. And the last one, this one was for me. Oh, he's so cute. Of course, it's a 3. Hi, Mama. Of course, it's a 3. She's so cute. Wish upon a star. Wish upon a star. Okay, so, it's not a 3, it's a 39. I thought that was a 0. 9, 10, 11, 12. It is a 3. So you take 3 plus 9 is 12, and then 1 plus 2 is 3. So I thought that was a 0. Okay, so 39, wish upon a star. So the key concepts: intentions based on your desires and aspirations, the act of consciously committing to a vision, sacrificing something of value, gambling on yourself, trusting that dreams can become reality, the importance of daydreams. So do you believe your dreams can become real, or do you shrug them off and chide yourself for being unrealistic? What if you could trust that the world around you holds promise you have not yet realized? Perhaps the point all along is not how something can happen, but the power of wishing and intending. I've really enjoyed this year doing intentions. I really, many of you, if you've been around, know that I've been using a bullet journal, and I'm still planning on doing something to bring you guys along that journey with me. But I really like the idea of intentions rather than goal setting. That's just worked for me. Manifesting, the intentions feels like something I can put down on paper and let it do its magic. When I do goals or when I do manifesting, I feel like I have to try to control the situation or do something different. I don't know why, but intentions just feels different. So I like the fact that she said the power of wishing and intending. So we humans have multiple ways to own a dream, ritualize. For some reason, I couldn't see that word. We humans have multiple ways to ritualize owning a dream we want to see manifest in physical form. Thinking of a wishing well, you infuse a coin with your intention, tuning into the feeling of having a particular experience. Tossing the coin into the well symbolizes the act of letting go of the how. That's exactly why I like the intentions. You create them, you put them down, you might create a little altar around them with charms and rocks or whatever you want to do, or just write them in a book and then let the universe figure out the how and the timing. I just really resonate with that, letting go. Because then it just feels like, okay, I'm going to trust the universe to do what it needs to do. So, and the timing of it. So, all right. Well, I hope this was helpful or fun or just, a good time, just a good use of your time this morning. And we are doing the final, so tonight at 7, depending on when you're watching this, but the final April messages is coming out tonight. The last 2, we're going to decode them with some oracle cards. So the last 2 messages that the spirit guides have given us collectively for the month of April. Okay. All right. Well, have an amazing day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.